Welcome back, YouTubers, to our British Fist Wrestling Rundown, the video where instead of reviewing that crappy-ass show Smackdown, we actually talk about some of the smaller talking points during the week, and of course, a couple of bigger talking points which we can think of, so this should be a very good video.
But with this, it gives us the chance to give us anything that's happened after Raw that we may have missed, like over the coming week up to Smackdown, and then Smackdown itself where not a lot happens, but something happens.
Yeah, indeed. And we also want to open this out to you as well. I think a good idea what we could do is send us some personal messages or something with some topics that we can maybe talk about, and we may incorporate it into the topic itself, as long as it is relevant with what happened in the week in wrestling that we're talking about.
Because that's the thing, as much as we can come with our ideas of what we think could be a big talking point, if there's something that you want to know our opinion on, so like, as you know, we skipped through a lot of Raw and through Smackdown. If you notice that we didn't, let us know, and then we'll do it to make you happy.
As long as it is relevant, of course. I am Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is none other than NJ.
What's up?
Although some may think he was a wrestling version of James Bond. We're also the British Fist.
Gotcha!
Indeed, and let's get straight on to this video. After you guys subscribe or above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on the talking points we have talked about in this video, in this British Fist Wrestling Rundown, down in that comment section below.
And you know what to do next.
Oh, and by the way, guys, don't forget, we're doing a live Q&A this Sunday. This is just our attempt to try and hype it up, like WWE should be hyping up some of their other shows on their you know, vast network of shows they have right now.
That's the thing with the live Q&A, it's something that we enjoy doing, so we're going to get it out there as much as we can. So expect on Sunday us to tweet it a lot, Facebook it a lot, and get you involved, because when the night happens, we'll enjoy it, and so will you.
Yeah, indeed. So it's going to be 10 PM GMT when we do the live Q&A, so bring in your questions. We'll try and get through as many as we can. We'll probably go for about 2 hours or so before I eventually conk out. I know you could go on all day, but...
That's the case.
Yes, indeed. So be there on Sunday, guys, or be square. So the first thing we want to talk about in this British Fist Wrestling Rundown is the question, is Team Hell No getting stale? This was brought to my attention by a YouTube user called TheHabitMan. NJ, do you think Team Hell No are getting a little bit stale now?
I've got 3 words. Yes, yes, yes.
Is that right? So you think they're stale then?
Well, to be honest, from the very beginning, I was against this tag team. I didn't really want to see Kane at this place. Daniel Bryan, yes, the WWE are going to do what they can to build him back up, because he was knocked down from the main event. They need to keep him relevant, rebuild his character back up. So going to the tag team, getting himself a name again, or a stronger name, or rebuilding back up was good for Bryan, but not for Kane, in my opinion.
See, I really like the idea of Team Hell No. I didn't like it at first, but I must admit I did grow into it. I liked what they did with Daniel Bryan, and I must admit at first I was a bit questioning on Kane. But the thing is with Kane's character, it was not really suited for it, but they could twist it in a way where it would actually be quite funny, because it would go against his character so much and some of the stuff that I was scripting. Now, I think what HabitMan means is, when they started off, they were doing this backstage stuff, the anger management. It was very interesting, in my opinion, very funny, and also quite entertaining. And it was a nice way to get your tag champs featured on the show in a different way, using backstage segments. But now, I think we've noticed over these last couple of weeks and a couple of months as well, since they've done this anger management thing, it's just started to get to the point where they're just involved in in-ring segments. They're doing the same. I'm the tag team champions, and it's just all of a sudden becoming a part, rather than being a standout part of the show, it's now just becoming a generic part of the show, exactly what they're doing, which is why I think, instead of making it stand out, I think it's now getting a tad stale, personally.
The anger management stuff, I do agree, that part was going well, because you obviously picture Kane being angry, Daniel Bryan jumped into the picture, led up to the possible tease of Charlie Sheen, which would have made sense, but the fact they kind of rushed it as it went on, like, anger management stopped. You saw that bald-headed, freaky, creepy guy.
Shelby.
He disappeared, so they rushed. I think they rushed the anger management by the end, just to get to the point where we're at now, where all it is really is yes, yes, no, no, no. I'm the tag team champion. I'm the tag team champion, and it's really getting boring, because the anger management could have gone somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for Daniel Bryan, and Kane could have been there to put Bryan over. But now it's just going the same thing every week.
And I mean, notice also the crowd heat is not quite where it was at the beginning of it. And I do agree with you. It is starting to get a little bit stale in the sense that it's just not as interesting. It's just that the segments they're in are now just very generic, and it's the same old kind of stuff. Rather than making them stand out and make their characters stand out, it's just become part of the show. And
even though I think this is going to keep going to probably WrestleMania and probably have Kane versus Bryan, for Kane to put Bryan over, because I think Bryan's going to be still the future while Kane's just going to be doing his job for Daniel Bryan. So until then, we're going to go through the same process. I don't see anything else changing. I see them arguing and eventually falling out in the match at Mania. I don't see any other way, but I just don't enjoy this.
Indeed, so credit to the Habit Man for bringing this to our attention. I do agree. I think Team Hell No is getting a little bit stale now, and I would invite you guys to discuss this in the comment section below. Do you think Team Hell No is getting stale? We would like to know your thoughts. Just as a small question for you, NJ. Why am I seeing the Great Khali on my TV screen? I don't understand what his purpose is in the WWE right now. He doesn't really seem to have that much direction. What's the point in him being on TV right now?
The thing is, I really do not like Khali. Yes, he was the strongest main event, but that quickly slipped down after the feud with Triple H. And now the thing about this, it's all about his pants, you know, his pants being bad luck. If they went black to be black, then maybe he'll be taken seriously. But right now, oh look, I'm wearing a pink tutu. Khali, you're a joke. Get lost.
This guy has no direction. He's taken up precious TV time. He can only be there for filler. And I guess it's true what they say. Once you go black, you can't go back. Hello out there, YouTubers. My name is Mr. Parkin, and I am your intellectual martyr. And right here, I have someone that wants to try and prove his IQ-rificness. Yes, that is a word. I have just made it up in my own Oxford Dictionary, Mr. Parkin's Dictionary. I'm going to ask you a few questions now, NJ, and I want you to answer them. And if you answer all 3 of the questions correctly, you will have the honour, the privilege of being Mr. Parkin's apprentice, even though you kind of already are. Question number 1. Who is my favourite wrestler? You are terrible! You are not worthy of being my predecessor! You are not worthy of being in the same YouTube channel as me! And you guys are not worthy of being in the same segment or even watching me on this YouTube channel! You're welcome!
Which was happily the best part of Smackdown.
Hashtag Raw is rigged. Now, the reason we bring this up is because obviously they do these Twitter polls in WWE, and they had Daniel Bryan or Kane versus CM Punk. Both of them we've seen before. But my point is, they put out these Twitter things for you to vote on, and even though Daniel Bryan was trending worldwide, for some reason the poll indicated that Kane was the winner. Now, when a guy is trending worldwide, generally it shows you that people want him in the match, and I just don't really buy that Kane was the actual person in there. And they try and make it as if we have a say, but you just know behind the scenes that WWE are controlling these polls, and we don't actually have a say because they do what they want.
The thing is, with this poll, I've not really agreed the way they did it. It's like Hogan's Choice. It's all fixed and rigged and stupid. Yes, they try and they're socialising with the YouTubers by using Twitter, their biggest popular thing now, but I don't think that it's really benefiting. It's just filling up time, making it look like they're caring for the audience. And this example, the fact that Daniel Bryan versus Punk, we've seen that before. It went on too long. Kane, yet his character slipped down, but he's still a challenge. Something that could have made a good match, which it did before it led on to the aftermath. But again, this whole riggy stuff, polly stuff, I just think WWE should just stop.
And to be honest with you, it wasn't even like that was an issue, but another issue was the fact that Bryan versus Punk we've seen so many times, Kane versus Punk we've seen many times. So essentially we're voting for 2 matches that we'd already seen for a long time. But I just don't get why WWE try and tout this out to be this like, oh, fan interaction, when quite obviously, as we saw from the trends on Twitter, that clearly isn't the case. And that, in my opinion, is just bullshit.
I really don't agree with this. I'm just looking at it thinking, yes, there was like Cyber Sunday in the past where it was interacting with us voting. That may have not been as rigged as this, but the WWE came up with this idea and it's just not working.
I have a much needed question to ask you guys, and also I want to ask the same question to NJ, as it will obviously spark some very good discussion between us two. Would you rather see Jerry Lawler doing the colour commentary on Raw for 3 hours, or would you rather see JBL doing colour commentary on SmackDown for 2 hours? Go.
Well, taking nothing away from Jerry Lawler, he is someone that's been in the WWE for a long time, gone through good matches, good time in the WWE. So to see him go would be a sad moment, just like when Jim Ross left that period of time. People may not like that, but eventually accepted it. Jerry Lawler may be running up steam, but he's still a name the WWE have grown up with. But JBL, as much as I do want to see him back in the ring, it could still happen, but if it doesn't happen, him as a commentator, strong heel commentator like Coachman used to be, I think with JBL there, he's adding so much more analysis for him being an ex-wrestler on the commentary table. So in my answer, I'd say JBL.
To be honest with you, I'll sum up my answer very shortly here. Jerry Lawler is very dull now. He's losing it, in my opinion. I thought that after his heart attack, he'd probably take some time off. He did take a little bit of time off, but Jerry Lawler is on the decline. In my opinion, when I look at JBL, I see a real, proper heel commentator. Have you seen the amount of times on SmackDown? He buries freaking Josh Matthews. He's a cut above most of the commentators, in my opinion, on WHC because he actually seems to have passion. He actually thinks that SmackDown is the A show. That's how passionate he is about the commentating on his show. He thinks SmackDown, which is tape, is an A show over Raw.
I look at JBL and I'm thinking, as much as I want to see him back in the ring, he is a commentator that I think could be the future of the commentary table to side with a base commentator or Cole or whoever he's going to be siding with.
Yeah, I would love to see JBL doing a lot more commentary for WWE, and I really think Jerry Lawler needs to get off that commentary table, personally. So one thing we haven't really properly discussed yet is the whole concept of MizTV. Now, what's your thoughts on the concept and how it's used to forward storylines and how it's used to showcase Miz in a somewhat unique way, even though Jericho, Christian, Edge has done it already?
It's not the first time we've had MizTV. When he first started on SmackDown, he had it back then. So them trying to make it seem like something new. Yes, it's all concept. He's wearing suits. He's very professional. But this, I think we do need a show like this back. The highlight reel's gone. Current Edge is gone. Piper's Pit's probably near WrestleMania thing. I think with a talk like The Miz, because Punk's not going to be doing something like this, but The Miz, I think this could be a good thing. He's in the ring with a face and a heel, or his next opponent, and he's really sparking something off. And I think with that one we had a few weeks back, when he had like about 4 different guys in the ring, and it really got them all talking. I think this is definitely good for The Miz, great talker, his own segment, as well as future feuds for other wrestlers or for himself.
It's a great way of continuing on feuds without them actually touching, or in some cases just having the feud really play out on that with the talking segments. Not only that, but like you said, we are missing those kind of talking segments. I think a talking segment like that, as long as it's not overdone, which I feel it's kind of been lately in my opinion, as long as it's not overdone, I think this could be a really good thing for not just WWE, for Miz going forward, especially now he's turned babyface.
And the thing about The Miz is that he, in my opinion, especially for me, he brings entertainment, especially to his little segments he has. So for him to be in the ring with another great mic talker or someone else needs a lift, this could be definitely something good if they keep using it in the future. Yeah,
I just hope, like I said before, I just hope they don't overdo it, have it every week. I mean, that, in my opinion, would be overdoing the concept a little bit, and they have been doing that a touch, but I do agree on everything you're saying, Jay. It is a fantastic way of highlighting Miz and the feud. A question I want to ask about Miz, why is he still not in the feud, even though you've just turned him babyface? I know we asked this last week, but come on.
I do question why he's not in a feud yet, because normally when you turn someone face, yeah, it helps the viruses, I'll give it that, but they turned him face, and then for the next month, he's not really got it going for him, but I still have high hopes for this face turn. So like I said in my videos that we've done on our own channels, there's future opponents he could go against, give us great matches, great promos. So I think following probably the build to Rumble or the build to Mania, there could be big things for Miz if the WWE book it correctly.
I do hope so. It's just I don't see the initial direction for WWE, and I think if they had a direction for him, they would give him it straight away rather than wait so long and have him floating around the mid-card as a babyface, even though they lack credible babyface mid-carders, but that's just me on that one. So we saw on SmackDown this week that the whole angle between AJ Lee, Vicky Guerrero, John Cena and Ziggler, as much as I hate it and don't want to talk about it, for some reason it got featured on SmackDown. Now I'm not really sure why they want to take a Raw feud and feature it, especially in the main priority point of SmackDown in the opener and also the main event. Do you really think they should be bringing these angles over from Raw and put them onto SmackDown when really the focus should probably most likely be on the World Heavyweight Championship?
I think, again, with SmackDown failing for many, many years now, I guess bringing Cena onto their show was make think, yes, they didn't announce that he was going to be on SmackDown. They just left it for a big segment on Raw, so it really didn't help SmackDown that much. But I think the more times they show it, like on Raw or SmackDown, the quicker this stupid storyline is going to come to an end. So we've done all these different ideas, some on Raw, some on SmackDown, and be like, oh, we've got nothing left to do. Let's finish it.
I hope it ends. But to be honest with you, I do see your point about SmackDown needing the star power because their live attendances haven't been good, the ratings haven't been very good. Quite clearly, WWE feel that they do need to give SmackDown some star power, and who better star power on the current roster right now than John Cena, even though he never makes appearances on SmackDown. There's a reason for that, because he's a Raw guy and he should be involved in a Raw feud. But I do question the fact that WWE actually featured this feud and actually featured spots on the show as if it's like a big storyline on SmackDown when it really should be saved for the 3 hours on Raw. Just saying.
As much as I do agree with that, the fact that Ziggler is also a SmackDown wrestler for Cena to appear on Ziggler's show, shall we say, it kind of makes sense. But all I can say is that if they are going to do it next week and the week after, the more times you do it, just come to a nice wrap-up, probably at a pay-per-view.
Just have the storyline on Raw, for fuck's sake. And also, at Survivor Series, Tamina attacked AJ Lee. Where's the follow-up been on that?
Sadly, I think, again, they've got all these other ideas, other feuds, other storylines going. This one's probably not the biggest one, and AJ's probably not one of their focus, even though she's wrapped up with Cena and Vicky. But this Tamina thing, I think it's going to probably be a bitter match somewhere down the line.
Do you think it's going to be a tag match between AJ and Cena and Dolph and Tamina at the pay-per-view rather than the singles match which they just wasted on free TV? I take it by your reaction, NJ, that you don't like that idea.
Don't really care!
Okay, so Dolph Ziggler has now had the Money in the Bank briefcase for quite a while now, ever since the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And I guess what we really want to discuss here is the rise of Dolph Ziggler. Do you think he could be a good World Heavyweight Champion? Do you think he's just going to be a flop in the pan? Give your thoughts.
The rise, I would say it's been really bad for two reasons. Number one, Vicky has helped many other heels in the past, but she's not helped Ziggler, so she's been a rubbish manager for him. And then it looks like they're slipping away from each other eventually. But I still think he's a good performer in the ring. He's not dreadful on the mic. He's going against top wrestlers. So I think, yes, he's losing all the time, which I hate the WWE for. They've done this with all Money in the Bank winners. Had them go through a horrible losing streak and suddenly they come to be a good wrestler. But I just think with Ziggler, they could have done something different for him. Yes, he's got a fan base. He could have had more of a fan base if his booking was better.
I mean, Dolph Ziggler, to me, doesn't look or feel like a main eventer. Do you know what I mean? You look at Ryback and you're just like, that guy is definitely a main eventer. He could definitely beat anyone in the company and be a top guy. With Dolph Ziggler, I don't really see that. I see a guy who could occasionally be in the main event, kind of like a Cody Rhodes, who could occasionally be in the main event, but really will never stay there, which is why I can't exactly get behind a Dolph Ziggler push. But like I said, Dolph Ziggler, like you said, is a very good guy in the ring. I do enjoy his matches, but I look back at it, he's been involved in a feud with Jericho, which he lost. He then retired him on Raw rather than a pay-per-view, which is stupid. Then have him in a feud with Orton, which he lost. In matches with Sheamus, which he lost. Matches with Orton, which he lost. This week he lost. This week he lost by DQ. And my point here is you can't just... How am I supposed to buy this guy as a World Heavyweight Champion when he's losing all the time? This is what I mean about the booking. You cannot... I know they've done this traditionally with Money in the Bank winners, but in my opinion it's bullshit. I don't know why they do this, but I mean they should... The problem is he's been booked so crap, and he's booked in a feud with John Cena. He's already lost to him, you know, he lost to him on this week's edition of Raw. So, and I'm supposed to buy this guy as a main eventer when you clearly can't book him in a way which I would actually probably think he could be a World Heavyweight Champion, even though I know he will be, and he's going to take the coward way, and they're not going to book him right. And I just... How am I supposed to justify the fact that I'm supposed to be behind the push when I know when he gets the championship, he's never going to be booked anywhere near decent. He's going to be another typical cowardly WWE champion heel. He's going to have the belt for a couple of months, and he's going to go back to the mid-card.
His losing streak has been pretty bad, like I said at the beginning of this part. But I think that with people behind Ziggler or enjoying his in-ring work, enjoying what he's been saying against his opponents, and the fact that he's still a young talent who is being blocked by other wrestlers that is expected in the WWE. It's not just Ziggler who's getting this. There's other wrestlers. I think the WWE have done bad with this booking, but I still think when the WWE allow the top wrestlers to stop being overly booked, other wrestlers like Ziggler, Miz will be back up there, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes would be. So I think Ziggler has a future ahead of him if the WWE do different booking.
Yeah, and I will say this, unlike Daniel Bryan last year, was pretty much continuing other storylines for other people, pretty much in filler. At least Dolph Ziggler has been booked in big feuds. He's been booked in a feud with Jericho. He's been booked in a feud with Orton. Now he's been booked in a feud with John Cena. So he has been booked in some pretty big feuds. And even though he has lost, at least he's been up there playing with the main event players. And even though he's lost to people like Orton, lost to people like Sheamus, at least he's up there with those guys, rather than Daniel Bryan, who was just like moving on storylines and never having his own feud. So at least he's had 3 good feuds, would you say, with top baby faces?
I think that's definitely something Ziggler could be proud of. Yes, he may not have won, but I blame the WWE for not actually giving him his big pay-per-view win or something to make him stand out. But I still have hope for Ziggler as long as the WWE tweak the booking, especially at the time when needed.
I think the booking is a crucial point, especially when you try and make a new star like Dolph Ziggler. Now, I want to pass this over to you guys. This, I guess, is the bigger talking point of this video, Dolph Ziggler, essentially. The rise of Dolph Ziggler. Do you think he'll make a good champion? What do you think of his booking? Let us know down in the comments section below whether you think Dolph Ziggler could be a credible World Heavyweight Champion down the line with the Money in the Bank briefcase in consideration. So thank you very much for watching the British Fist Wrestling Rundown, where we ran down all these different topics. I think we touched on 8 different topics this week. Make sure you let us know your thoughts on the 8 topics we've talked about. I'll also make sure to link the times of each topic we've talked about down in the description box below. So if you have some you don't want to watch, or if you have some you do, you can just go down the description box down there and pick the ones you want to watch and give your thoughts on.
And as well as commenting the ones we spoke about, because I've really enjoyed this video, because with these we've had comedy, we've had direction, we've had discussion, but after you commented those parts, the ones you're interested in, please give us future ones in our later videos so we can keep this going but in more of a direction for you guys.
We're trying to make this more fan interactive, because it's going to get to a point in time where we're going to not really be able to think of that many ideas, so we'll need your help on this one. And plus we'll mention your YouTube name and stuff like that if you give us that in the inbox us or in the comment section or something like that. Just let us know clearly that you want it involved in the British Fist Wrestling Rundown. Also, make sure you check out our Q&A. I've said this before, but check out our live Q&A on Sunday at 10 PM GMT. That should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one.
With the Q&A, yes, we try to do at least one live thing a month. So this one is something special. It's not pay-per-view related. It's just Q&A. So you can ask us absolutely anything more than just wrestling related. So we look forward to seeing what we got lined up coming our way, but tune in for Sunday.
Indeed. So thank you very much for watching this edition of the British Fist Wrestling Rundown, that it shall be known as from now on, and goodbye.